These are a little bit thicker than the intended for the finished piece. These are 32 millimeters thick. The spec is 30, so I'm trying to stay away from that. These are not the actual boards that were together. These are from two separate pieces from that flitch. And as I just kind of went here, you can kind of see it here. There's this graining that came together. And as I was putting them side by side, I really kind of liked the way this came together. So I'm kind of just exploring grain as it happens. And you can see right here, there's this figuring that's happening here, but it's also kind of dark. So I think this is a sign of burning from the planer. I've got a DeWalt 735 that has the straight knives that are factory. I had just replaced the knives several months ago, and they've been cutting beautifully cutting. But this pass was like the first time that with these new blades that I've seen this kind of darkness. So I think it's getting time to replace those straight knives and go to something new. I'm thinking about a helical head. But here's one board, and you can see how this slice here, this angle piece, this was that check that we had, and I cut them all out, put them together, and it looks pretty good. I think I like it, but let's move on over here. Here is the other part of that. Again, this was actually, these two pieces are together. This is from one piece of that slab. I just cut it down in order to fit it through the planer and the joiner. The joiner itself is only 8 inches wide, and the planer is 13 inches wide. So this piece here is too long. The joining went well overall, but I learned that I had a problem. I don't know if I showed this to you before, but one of the early things that I was joining was this board, right? You can see here, fairly decent. And as I was joining it, you could see it's still rough sawn on this edge, right where the sapwood is. And I was trying to join it down, surface it down so I could at least have all of this light brown here running through. And I didn't realize it, but I kept pushing it through, and I wasn't really getting a lot of results. I was wondering what is going on here. But you can kind of see it in this shot. Look at this. It looks narrower here than here. And when I finally took it out, look at that. This here, this thickness is 27 millimeters. And you can see it's kind of trapezoidal. And I was like, oh God, 27 millimeters, 32 millimeters here, and it's still rough sawn here. It hasn't been through the planer. That was it, that was done, I was toasted. It's way thick up here, but oh man, I was really upset. And this board here is what, 32, 33 inches. So there's the potential for maybe one of the end pieces, if it's round, we might be able to use that, but it would have to be somewhere down here where there's 32 in thickness. So that's what I'm holding on to, but I was very upset with that. And it turns out that the beds were out of sync. This had happened on a couple pieces before where I had this trapezoidal thing, and I wasn't sure I thought it might be my technique. And the 8-inch joiner is relatively new to my collection. I replaced a 6-inch one that was rock solid with the 8, and I bought the 8 from a furniture maker. So I figured there was all, all coplanar and everything, but as I got to measuring it the other day, yeah, no, it's not. So I had to reset the beds and reset everything. So I think I've got it pretty close. There's a little bit of snipe that's happening at the very end when I'm edge joining. I don't know if it's showing here, but right here I can feel it, just a slight snipe, which means that even though I thought I set the beds correctly, the outfeed bed is just slightly lower. And I think that's what's causing the issue. So we've got to work on that. Now here's another piece here. This is also to spec. This is the 32 millimeters. An extra piece that probably usable width is right about here. So this could be one of the ends, right? Because we've got this stretchy down here. So it could be one of the ends. So because as you put it together, it's 30 inches in diameter. And if we're working with 32-inch boards, since it's circular, part of it you won't have to worry about so much, right? Part of that will get cut out. So it's about trying to fit it all together. And that's kind of what we're working on right now. So let's put this aside here. I have one more piece that I use the extra pieces from to join together, trying to find an interesting pattern. I think I found it with this one. So here you got these grains. I kind of matched them up. These are from both other boards, but the reason that they can match is because these are actually sequentially cut in the slab. So these are from the same flitch. These are essentially bookended, right? Book match. So I thought that looks kind of interesting. Now you can see here, because of the way that I cut it, it's got this wedge shape. So, and then these edges here still need to be joined and squared. But that's kind of where we are at the moment. So I'm thinking maybe that could be the center. Then also you want to look at both sides. Like here, you can see this one. Whoa, there's a knot here. That's weird looking. So this is definitely the side we're going to work with on that one. This is the side that I like for this board. I think that looks very nice. Look at the other side. I mean, the other side, you can see these two were really together. So you can see the grain line comes together here. Actually, in some ways, that's very pretty. Look at that kind of like quilting going on here with the stripes or with the grain. I love the purple and the kind of brown, and then the reddish brown purpley here, and then moving to, oh man, I don't know, maybe that's going to be all right too. This is where I have been, but maybe that might be more interesting. Looking here, you know, I just love the way that this part here of the board, these color grain changes, God, I just love that. Now, we did talk last time in the other video about trying to see if we can utilize that sapwood by tinting it. And you can see here, this is a cutoff from another board, but essentially the same thing. But you can see we can get, that could be very pleasant as far as coloration and matching, and maybe running that tint across the entire surface just to get a little more evenness to it. You can see this one that had a 50-50 mix of the trans tint with the Everclear, a little bit too dark for, you know, it looks, I think maybe if it was just on its own, it might be okay, but I think, I don't know if I want it to be very, very dark yet, but you can see there is a darkness here because of the tint, but that's kind of what we're thinking about. Let's see what it looks on the other side. Now you can see here, it's okay. It's not terribly nice, but you can see here where the seam is. This seam is forming because the joining of it is not perfectly square. The squareness of the fence is also a little bit wonky. I had to reset it and I'm not sure of it. So I ended up taking a hand plane to hand plane the edge as much as I could. Really, my interest is with this face. So that's gonna be our face here. One of the things I also like about, let me turn this around. These are pretty, it's all gonna be pretty darn heavy when this is done. But I really like the way that it comes together here. Like, I just think it's pretty. And these are not, these are from two separate cuts. And I was like, oh, that looks fairly interesting. So I'm not sure if like, maybe that should be one of the edges. So you can see maybe like something like, let's move this over here. Maybe something like that, and then maybe turn it around. And something like this. Now this does give us kind of a fan shape to the board, so I don't know if that's a good thing. That could be, I mean, as long as it fits with the 30 inches within it, it kind of doesn't matter. I'm also curious to know how, if these were all put together with this kind of fan shape, like I could easily straighten this out, but if I kept that, would that be a little bit more dynamic and more interesting? Right, so here we go, 30 inches. So 30 inches is right. I could fit 30 inches, well, not really. Probably one, like we're getting a little bit, at 30 inches, we're gonna have a little bit of the gradient for the sapwood. And then 30 inches here. Oh, yeah, it would fit. It would fit with this wedge shape. That would work. It could work. What I need to do next is actually join these four edges to see if how they'll fit together. I mean, the other way to do it could be turning it around. And when you're putting together your pieces, it's really just a matter of doing this, just going back and forth and seeing what you'd like, what looks good, right? And now, one of the things I do notice with looking at this is that there's a little bit of a chip out here. Have to notice that. So probably end up running the saw on the inside of that. So we're gonna lose maybe like a 1/4 inch or so of the width. I'm wondering like maybe that could, having just a little bit of hint on the edge might be kind of interesting, might lend some interest. Now, another thing that I was thinking about potentially doing was to use the sapwood, maybe cut the sapwood straight. What I mean by that is removing the live edge from the sapwood, cutting so that there's still some of the sap remaining, And instead of having the sapwood towards the outside, have the sapwood on the inside as kind of the center detail of the board. Right, so something like this. Now maybe trim it so that most of the white is cut out, and then have kind of this lighter gradient, or maybe just a little bit of that white. I'm not sure yet. That's kind of what these are just some thoughts that I'm having with the board. Now, if I do that, then the question is, you know, how about this board? How do we make that fit in? Put on both, we have to add on both sides if we want to center it, or could it be an interesting feature if this was off center, right? But this kind of thing, kind of like a river of sapwood running through the table. But I think this kind of detail really takes someone that's very, very open. I'm not saying that my friend is not open to that. He could be very open to that, but this is pushing us, I feel that it's pushing us away, kind of out of the spec that we had talked about. So we have a little bit of time, so it's not like you have to totally decide in the moment which way you're going to go. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I necessarily like that, because I especially like these cathedral patterns in here. If I put them on the outside like this, they're going to be towards the outside. I think they should be more centered. I don't know, I think that would be okay. Or maybe turn it around. So that the cathedraling, yeah, that could be better. That could be a little bit more. That could be along what we like. Now, like I said, the next thing is going to be to join the faces, or the edges, and then check how tight they are. And you can see here, I've got these marks on the boards. I used 5mm Dominos to align them. In this particular case, I'm using Dominos as an alignment tool rather than a glue up or strengthening tool. Like this is 32mm walnut. The surface faces that are glued together, it's plenty strong to hold together. There's no concern about whether the strength is there or not. The Dominos really are there for alignment. And really I'm using it mainly because I don't want, see, look at this. Like if I rub here, you can see like there's no gradation there's no grabbing, there's no edge showing, right? This is like right here, if I rub it here, there's an edge showing, but this is the power of the domino. This is what I loved about the domino. It's so easy to put the mortises in. You just mark the lines and then you drill it and you insert the dominoes glued up together, and man, it is just like beautiful. I've had glue ups where I've done panels free-handed using hard maple. The grains were running in two different directions and, well, you know, major tear out. So I was like, ugh. And that piece was, you know, more of a shop project. So a little more leeway for as far as errors, but in this particular case, there's very little leeway for error. If I have a millimeter tear out, which means I have to mill down everything a millimeter to make it even. 32mm, now I've got 31mm. Now I'm getting really, really tight to the spec, and I don't want to go under 30mm. All right, that's where we are on the black walnut table project. We're trying to figure out the arrangement of the boards. I should add something to it. Maybe a part of this into the lineup. Maybe this side. See, there's a lot of nice straight grain. That could mimic that fairly well. Even if I just add like a couple inches, that could be something. Let me know what you think about layout, if you have ideas or suggestions on what I should be doing. Eventually we'll get to the point of using finish. So if you have ideas on finishes, let me know too. I'd be interested to know what you think and how you might approach this. Thanks for tuning in. Hope this helps in your own woodworking, and see you next time.